Hello, everybody. It's Sydney. Welcome to my reading log for April of 2025. So I'm going to be starting with Komi Can't Communicate, Volume 33, my only Shonen Sunday that I read this month. We're introducing a new girl in this volume. I think a couple new girls. Komi's going to lessons on, I think it was leadership. Let's see, I thought it was leadership sort of lessons. Oh yeah, we actually had the sports festival. I think I remember the leadership thing because it came at the very end. It was, international communication is what she was going to like a lesson for. We met a few more girls. Komi may have developed some new friends. This girl's interesting. She kind of speaks in like sort of riddles relating to Egyptian theology and just Egyptian facts. It's odd. Komi's always great. I always recommend it regardless of who you are. I think I'm going to shift my books out of frame a little bit. I just realized they are peeking in frame. Okay. They're almost at the edge of the table here, so I can't really do anything about that. You'll just have to witness the unfinished, or the blank sides of these books until I get to them. Next, we got Rainbows After Storms, Volume 2 by Luca Kobachi. The Yuri series by the wife of the author of Komi Can't Communicate. Very cute. I still really like this. It's wholesome, and I think they actually have some of the backstory behind the two starting to get together and falling for each other. It's a very sweet Yuri, and I really enjoy it so far. Next, we've got Like a Butterfly, Volume 11, and I think this one wraps up the story, and then the next one's a side story. Let me check. Because, of course, it's a shoujo romance. It's not like an unpredictable ending. Let's see. Oh gosh. Yeah, I think this is the final volume of the story, and then the next volume is going to be the last one, but it's going to be like side stories. I enjoyed this series. It was pretty good. The art really, really carries it. I love the way they draw the characters, and I loved the two shy characters opening up and fighting themselves through their interactions with each other and through developing their relationship. It was a really cute shoujo series that I would read again. I really only had 2 shoujo beats I read this month, because there's that and then there's my special one, Volume 9. We are continuing on this secondary romance plot with another character and the person she is in love with, and I just recently found out that this is actually ending in a couple volumes. I think the next volume, I think this is going to be similar to my special, to Like a Butterfly, where it's going to be a final volume and then a side stories volume. I think ultimately I didn't have the most fun with this. I was interested in it at the beginning, but my interest waned in the main couple as they got together. I'm not really sure why. I enjoyed this couple, but I'm still kind of iffy. I'm not a huge fan of this series, personally. Next, we've got the Shonen Jumps, starting with Blue Box, Volume 14. We've got a bit of a spoiler. I think the two are finally together. Yeah, the two are finally together in this volume. They are starting some couple interactions like Valentine's Day, but they are still continuing the growth of the main character's sports prowess, because he chose to really dive and go headfirst into badminton. So it's really nice that we have a balance of that sports element and the romance. I still think it's a really, really good shonen romance series. It's a rom-com, sort of, a little bit dram, but I very much enjoy it. And if you're a shoujo romance fan, I'd say check out Blue Box as well. Unlike a lot of shonen romance, it doesn't rely heavily on fan service, which is a blessing, because that can get a lot. Then we got Dark Gathering Volume 12, with a really serious fight with huge consequences happening in this volume. And then another crazy fight starting to happen at the end of this volume, with a lot of threats that they're trying to deal with. Very interesting so far. I really enjoy it. Then we've got Four Lives Remain, Tatsuya Endo Before Spy Family. This is a one-shot collecting one-shots of Tatsuya Endo, series that he published before Spy Family. And one of these series, the second one right here, went on to become Blade of the Moon Princess, which was a 5-volume series. This is an enjoyable read. I don't remember which of these stories I really liked. it was just all right. It wasn't anything spectacular. I think I liked the last story, the Witch Hunters one. No, actually, I like the Witch Hunters one and the Musketeers hunting robbers. Bounty Hunter School was my favorite. The Blade of the Moon Princess, I preferred the series. It's still nice to see what he did before Spy Family, and I am really curious to see what he's going to do after Spy Family, honestly. Then we've got My Hero Academia Team Up Missions Volume 6. I can't say I remember too much about what happened in this volume. Team Up Missions tend to just kind of be a bunch of small things happening. Oh yeah, we did have, I think, like, I don't remember the relation he has to one of the characters, but just like a young boy learning how to become a hero through one of the hero training castles at this hero convention, which was fun. I am enjoying this so far. I just don't remember too much of the details. This is the little boy I was talking about here. Oh yeah, there was the trash cleaning contest, which of course these two got in big fights about because hyper competitive and all. Enjoyable though. Then we've got Sakamoto Days Volume 16 with a character that is extremely good at the sniper rifle, but his kind of quirk thing is that he's never drawn in the series. I don't think he's been drawn yet as of this volume. I may be misremembering, but he's always pretty much just presented as a talking sniper rifle. The sniper rifle doesn't talk, but it's like it kind of moves as he's talking to kind of give it some anthropomorphic qualities of him. I enjoy this. That's the big part of this volume, but we also have them trying to get into the Museum of Spy History because they're trying to what's his name? Slur. Slur is trying to assassinate the chairman of the JAA, Japan Assassination Association, I believe. And of course, he's trying to put a stop to that. So they're trying to figure out a way to get into there. And they start getting, let's see. I think he's just straight up hunting him. I'm not exactly sure I remember the reasons why. But yeah, Sakamoto Days continues having really excellent covers as always. Last Shonen Jump, we've got Shoha Shoten Volume 7. We've got a big investment in one of the backstories this volume, as you can tell by the black color of the pages here. Usually Shonen Jump, black color pages means backstory. I enjoyed it. I liked seeing more about the backgrounds and kind of building up the momentum to see how the main characters do in this competition that's been built up for a few volumes. Now let's get into the Viz Sig, starting with Dog Thread by Satoru Noda. Satoru Noda, the creator of Golden Kamuy. This is a series about a figure skater who was doing really well. His mother died, and soon after he was performing at, not the Olympics, he was, I don't remember what meet he was at, but he had a huge fit of rage at one of them and ended up quitting figure skating altogether, moving out to the country, even though he was super popular, and now he is basically being dragged in to join an ice hockey team, and he is just demonstrating how his figure skating skills apply to ice hockey. This is a very comedic series so far. It's got a lot of odd comedy, and I think that's kind of what Noda does. I haven't read Golden Kamuy yet, but I think that's going to be kind of similar to this vibe. I enjoyed it. It's going to take a while to grow, though. Then we've got Mujina Into the Deep, Volume 1 by Inio Asano. This is a series about people who are able to sign away all of their rights. Let's see. I think they do that to get a lot of money. I don't know if they actually get anything for signing away all of their rights, or if they're just born without rights in some cases. I don't remember the full details. But essentially it means that they can't be really punished by the law, because the law doesn't protect them, so they're not going to punish them at the same time. So it's a story about a young girl who is... Actually, I don't remember the full details of the story, honestly. The assassin, the Mujina assassin here, is kind of the main character of this series. We've got other characters as well. She is an assassin because she needs to make money, needs to survive somehow. I can't go too much into details of this plot. I don't remember a lot of it. It's a lot of dark elements to it, but I think Inio Asano does have a lot of dark elements in their work. But yeah, it was good. Then we've got... I will go that one last. we've got The Liminal Zone, Volume 2. I actually really enjoyed most of the stories in this volume. Let's see, the first story about the dust creatures was really, really interesting. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to like show too much of the pages. I mean, I can just like kind of just show, yeah, like just nothing that's gonna show off big spoilers, just kind of the art style. Let's see. I know one of the big ones in this story is the town where there's perpetual motion machines, and you can kind of guess what the twist is with the perpetual motion machines with the cover. I'm not going to spoil it. I really like the story at the beginning where it was about a hotel in the area where everything was abandoned, everything's covered in dust, and we start to see anthropomorphized dust ghost sort of things. Very interesting, very creepy. I think this is one of my favorite of his work so far. I still need to read the first one. And then we've got The Last Viz Sig with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean Part 6, Volume 9. We have got the end of Jolene's story this volume, and to those who were unaware of how it ends, it is a lot to take in, and I think it was a really good change of pace for the JoJo canon to do this sort of change that happened at the end of this volume. Of course, staying vague, so anybody who wants to read this isn't going to be spoiled if they haven't been already. I think this is, again, my favorite part of JoJo. I say that every time I read this, but we'll see how well I like Steel Ball Run. I read that online, but I haven't actually read it in person. All right, going to get into some oversized yen press, starting with Bocchi the Rock, Volume 6. Let's see what happened in this volume. They're planning a concert in this volume. I don't know if there's actually much else. They usually have a lot of things going on in these volumes, but I guess planning the concert was pretty much most of this volume. It's enjoyable. The anime is preferable in my opinion, but the anime is also way behind at this point because we've only had one season. Next, we've got The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All, Volume 2. I really like this series. The art's gorgeous, and I do like this new character coming in and shaking things up, kind of introducing a layer of jealousy to one of these relationships. Yes, we also have, I believe it's her. Terrible with names as usual. The black-haired girl she's worried that the black-haired girl is going to be moving abroad. She's going to be moving away to study abroad, and there's conflict that arises from that. This is a really good series, even if you're not really into Yuri. I would say to give it a shot. It's very well written, very well drawn. Next, we've got The Perks of Being an S-Class Heroine, Volume 1 by Irimbi and Gur through Ize Press. This is a series that I thought about picking up at some point, but never ended up doing it. Then my partner picked it up, so now I have to read it because I was interested in it to start with. It's a series about a girl who is reincarnated into the world of a video game, or is it a novel? It's a time loop novel. She initially wanted to be in a world where it was, I think romantasy was her genre of choice, but instead she's put into a time loop novel where she is going to die every single time until the protagonist ends the time loops. And she is basically, since she was killed and chose an insurance package, she is able to get all of these really good skills going into the next world, which, it's kind of a cliche for isekai, but, you kind of have to accept it with isekai at this point. It does give me a bit of solo leveling vibes with it's a very weird comparison to make, I know, but with the idea of these dimensions and dungeons just kind of popping up, because she actually runs into one of those this volume, and then we really, really get a peek of how overpowered she is in this series, which does track with the title. I think it's good. I want to give it some more volumes to grow on me before I really solidify how I feel about it. Then we've got The Summer Hikaru Died, Volume 5. We've got a lot of deep diving into the history of the town, why we think Hikaru is the creature that he is, if he is that creature or not. just more delving into the mysteries associated with this town and the surrounding towns. Very interesting. We're at the halfway point now. I think they confirmed it's going to be 10 volumes. I would say to give it a shot if you're into horror at all. There's some BL elements, but I think they're very, very understated at this point. I don't know if they're going to come back up or if they're going to really play a key point in the plot, but I really do enjoy it so far. Next, we've got The Three-Body Problem, Volume 2. This is an adaptation of the popular Chinese novel. I think it was a sci-fi Chinese novel. And we have an introduction to the world of The Three-Body Problem, which is basically a world that's, I think it's in 2 states constantly. It's either, I don't remember the names of the states, basically a state where almost nobody can live and a state of flourishing. And the whole point of the game is to be able to predict accurately when the states of flourishing begin and end, and when the states of the bad non-flourishing are, so they can be prepared for those situations. That's kind of the goal of the game. So the main character finds himself in the game in this volume. I'm not sure if that's going to be the main point of this series, but it seems like that's going to be the main part of it, just inside this virtual reality game and how it ties into the real world. It's interesting so far. I am going to give it some more time. We've got a single ink lore with Father, I Don't Want This Marriage, Volume 2. Featuring, of course, as usual for this sort of series, a main character who is not very observant. And we have the man falling for her a bit, her seemingly falling for him while also bad-mouthing him without knowing it at the same time. It's very fun. I like it. It's really pretty colors, and I really like the design of the volumes, especially everybody hates it. I love when series are just like, this typeface, that typeface, this typeface, italics, cursive, that sort of stuff. It's really fun and adds a lot of whimsy to it. Though this isn't really a whimsical series. It's kind of more of a little more of a darker drama. Actually, not really too dark. He's just a brooding dark boy, which pretty typical for the genre. We've got a couple Square Enixes. Both of them are tiny, with The Ice Guy and the Cool Girl, Volume 9. Finally getting a resolution to the cliffhanger from the 8th volume. And we also have the 2 visiting an aquarium, and I think this aquarium has otters too, because I think I remember looking and being very excited about it. I don't remember. I'm always looking for otters when they're in the aquariums in series. I don't want to just flip through all of the pages right now, because I don't want to spoil anything, show off too much of the art so people won't buy it, that sort of thing. But yeah. I really like it. It's very cute. We resolved the cliffhanger in the last volume. I don't want to say what happened, what it is, because I want y'all to read this series. The art, as always, is beautiful, though. And then we got Mr. Villain's Day Off, Volume 6. We've got various things here. We've got the main character just living his life, trying to find new things to do, new fun to have. And we have a bit more exploration into the Rangers, but a lot of this is just kind of silly stuff that happens in this volume. Nothing too serious, mostly just lighthearted romps for the villain. Again, very cute. I like it a lot. Now let's get into the oversized 7 Cs, starting with Eat by Nagabe, a series about a teacher who is always obsessed with people eating, watching them eat, and a student who takes a fondness to the teacher and would like to eat him himself. And it's a very charged series that draws lines between it kind of has a line between vor and something romantic. And when I say vor, that's the art. That's the art. That's the practice of eating somebody for your own pleasure, or being eaten for your own pleasure. Weird to explain concept, but it's a story by Nagabe. It's a BL, and it's very well drawn with interesting characters and there's no sexual contact in it, but it's very, very sexually charged. I really, really enjoy it. And I want more of his BLs published over here. Ah, gosh. I need to get something to stand him up if I keep him in these videos. He just doesn't, Anyways, next we've got the Eccentric Doctor of the Moonflower Kingdom, Volume 9. And in this volume, we have the father returning to basically tell her that she is not qualified to do all the stuff that she's trying to do, and trying to kind of prevent her from practicing because he's afraid she's not well trained enough, not qualified enough to practice on people. But there's something that happens that might convince her father to change his mind. I really enjoy this series. Very good. I would recommend it to more people. Again, Apothecary Diaries without the mystery. I would say more focus on the actual science of the medicine. It's also more Western medicine than Eastern medicine, with things like surgeries and established medicines that are usually used in the West. Actually, no, I think it's mostly just the surgeries that make it a bit more Western. Next, we've got Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, Volume 9. I did start watching the anime for this, or the donghua for this, I think is what it's called. Got very confused because the first season is entirely the flashback, which I wasn't expecting, and I got really confused with how the plot was progressing. But let's see, in this volume, we've got... Oh gosh. Now I'm really having problems because I'm trying to connect what happened in the donghua with what happened here. Let's see. Okay, so we do have the continuation of what happened after the area that they were living in was taken over by the rival clan. The clan is trying to take power over everybody. One of the characters trying to restore his golden core after it has been destroyed. I don't remember too many of the details. Unfortunately, I thought watching the donghua would help me retain more of this information, but because it's just the flashback, it's very segmented, so I don't really get much of the information. But I do think this is continuing in the past right now, after the events of that, and then we have the main character or Wei Wuxian, I should say, leading up to seeing why he was really considered such an ominous threat in the future, or in the present, I should say, because it seems like it's building up to something he's going to do that's going to be drastic. It's very interesting so far. Next, we've got the last oversized 7 Cs with Last Game, Volume 8. I think we finally got the relationship almost establishing in this volume. The main character finally realizing her feelings, I think. But, you know, it's... Yeah, she's realizing her feelings, but she's very, very slow to do so. It's still cute and enjoyable, but it's definitely a slow burn to get the romance actually starting, and I think it's going to end in a few volumes anyway, so it's probably going to be... Once the romance starts, the series is just going to kind of not fall off, but slowly just end. Quickly end, I should say. It's enjoyable. I like the art and the characters. It's just very slow to actually get the romance built up. Next, we got the final volume for I Crossdressed the IRL Meetup, Volume 3. We've got a bit of a conflict in this volume as one of the characters starts falling for another one that is one of the men cross-dressing, and they're also one of the men cross-dressing, so we've got some complicated emotions and feelings bubbling up from that, and that's kind of the core conflict of this volume. And it doesn't really resolve itself as I would like it to. It kind of leaves things ambiguous. But I think this is a cute series, and it's definitely worth it if it's only like a 3-volume investment, especially if you are into the idea of exploring sexual and gender identities. It's a good series for that, and it's very lighthearted and comedic. Then we've got Medalist, Volume 7. In this volume, we've actually got a major blocking point that happens to the main character after the coach suffers a very bad fall. And basically she is internalizing it as her own fault. So she's having trouble performing a trick that she was able to perform that she needs to for the next stage of her, I don't want to say the exact name of the thing she's doing. I'm just going to say trials as a figure skater to kind of reach up to her level and compete on the same level as her. But we have a lot of growth and exploration between the two main leads about how she's growing and how he needs to be there for her and how he's going to best support her. It's a very good development in their plot so far, and we really, really see the main character starting to become an amazing figure skater quicker than we would expect her to. Then we've got Nina the Starry Bride, Volume 8. In this volume, we have the prison break finally ending, and we have Mr. Psycho coming to break all the fun. And then this kind of ends on a cliffhanger where we don't know how things are going to progress between I don't know his actual name, the Prince Set. Yeah, Prince Set. We don't know how things are going to play out with Prince Set because he's very upset with things, very violent, and we don't know how Nina's going to handle this situation, how anybody's going to handle this situation, because he is still under the impression that she is the one responsible for this whole attempted assassination. And I really do like this subtle detail of the gun he's holding being kind of veiled by her cloak. Next, we've got Quality Assurance in Another World, Volume 11. We have got a bit of a minor plot twist. It was a little predictable because it seems like a lot of these characters kind of follow the same sort of archetype for how they're going to develop when they meet new developers. But we have the events of that playing out, and we also have just a very goofy segment about one of their actual cohorts getting kidnapped, with the person kidnapping them thinking they're the princess, and they're having to fulfill a sacrificial role as the princess. So they're trying to work to rescue him, which means they have to kind of work around the bugs and figure out a way to get to him before he is sacrificed. I wasn't a huge fan of this volume just because the plot twist felt very predictable in my opinion, and it kind of soured me a little bit on it. Then we've got Rent a Girlfriend, Volume 29. We are continuing the games of Will They, Won't They to an extreme degree in this volume. The drama is still fun, and I still enjoy seeing the characters and how they're developing, but it is the slowest of slow romances by far. We are 29 volumes in, and we don't even know if he's going to end up with the main character yet. So yeah, I can kind of get where people are getting the hate from. It has a lot of really good arcs, but it does take a while, and I mean a while, before anything seems to fully develop between these two. Next, we've got a couple One Piece books, starting with Tales of the Tendo Family, Volume 5. This volume shows the main character, after an attempted assassination plot, leaving the Tendo family temporarily to try and find somebody that her grandfather told her to seek out if she ever ran into trouble. Let's see. I don't remember too much about what happens after that. She does live with him for a while, and we get to see how the Tendo family, specifically how... Is his name Masato? Yeah, how Masato is handling her being gone from his side. Very good drama. It's a page turner for sure, and the art is really pretty, not just the covers. And then we've got Usotoki Rhetoric, Volume 10, the final volume of this series. It seems like a lot of this volume is kind of dedicated to the main two characters seemingly realizing their feelings for each other, and then kind of wrapping up her understanding of her powers and some of his past. Not my favorite way to wrap up the series, but I think overall it was a good read. The romance did just kind of feel like it was thrown in the last few volumes, unfortunately. Alright, and now for standard size Kodansha, we've got Origin Volume 9. I cannot explain too much of this series. Again, we're at the very end, and it's a sci-fi thriller series. So there's a lot of things happening and a lot of spoilers I could go over. Again, Origin is just a really, really good series with very, very beautiful art. I don't see why it seems to get a lot of hate, but I think it's really well written and very well drawn. Then we've got what I thought was the final volume, but I don't even know anymore, of Twilight Out of Focus, Long Take Part 2, Volume 6. We have got one of the relationships kind of running into a huge snag with one of the characters trying to break up because one of them's moving to college and they don't want to maintain a long distance relationship. We've got some drama happening with that. We've got, what's the other parts that happened? That was the main thing I remembered from this volume. it took up a pretty decent amount of time in this series. And then we've got some focus on the first two characters, the first couple, these two characters' relationship and how it's developing so far. I am enjoying Twilight Out of Focus. I do just kind of wish it would reach a natural end because it seems like they do just keep kind of extending it. Then we've got Go-Go Loser Ranger Volume 12. I will admit I had to look at the previous volumes to remember what exactly was happening because there's just a lot of stuff happening in this volume, like major all-out fights, a lot of characters that I did not remember fully. It's a lot of things happening in this volume that I don't even know if we have backstories in this volume. I think it's just action. I'm mixed on it. It's a little bit messy at the moment, in my opinion, but I am going to keep reading it. All right, we've got a single Inklore we have one Inklore oversized. This is an Inklore standard size. My love story with Yamada-kun at level 999, and I believe the main two characters end up together in this volume, or they started dating in this volume. But we've also got some potential drama happening with a friend she met online and through the game and trying to meet up with them alone, which, you know, kind of red flags as, unfortunately, how things are. She's trying to meet up with these people alone that she doesn't really know. We have some drama that I think is going to really start unfolding in the next volume. I'm interested to see what happens. I'm just a little concerned about it. Not concerned like it's got to be something terrible, but it's worrying what's going to happen to the characters. Then we've got The Do-Over Damsel Conquers the Dragon Emperor Volume 5. And I did watch the anime for this, so I kind of already knew what was going to happen in this volume. I don't know, I think I'm getting the anime confused with the manga. Let's see what happened in this volume. Yeah, no. Yeah. No. Sorry. This is a problem with watching the anime and reading manga because I get the two of them kind of mixed up. Let's see. Actually, no, yeah. The anime is a bit ahead of the manga. In this volume, we've got the main characters still existing as they are, but she's trying to reach out to find a way for his siblings to work with him to help save him from his uncle going absolutely crazy. We've got that plot kind of starting to get developed, that they're potentially fighting back now, and that's going to be progressing into the next volume. I'm iffy on Do-Over Damsel. Just the age gap thing is the thing that throws me off the most. We've got Lycoris Recoil Volume 2, and this volume really kind of solidifies the character of... her name is Sato? Chikina. Actually... Chisato. Yeah, we've actually got some good development for Chisato's character that shows she's not just a very sweet, nice girl. She has a lot of conflict within her and conflict with other members of the Lycoris teams, especially the ones in main Tokyo. So we get to see her fighting with them and bickering, and it's a fun way to see her character really develop because she's a lot more dynamic than you would think from the first few episodes of the first volume of the series. It's very good. I loved the anime, so I kind of already knew what was happening. Then we've got The Villainess Stands the Heroes Volume 4. These last three were yen press, by the way. In this volume, we've got the plot with the vampire finally wrapping up with the casino and everything. And then I think it actually ends off with them being like, all right, next up is a swimsuit event. And that's kind of the thing that they leave off on. So most of this volume is wrapping up the casino event and the vampire. Unfortunately, since you see it's only volume 4 and it started coming out a while ago, it's a very slow release. But it's enjoyable. I would say to wait until more volumes come out if you want to try and pick it up and check it out yourself. Then we've got a couple of standard size Square Enixes, starting with The Emperor's Caretaker, Volume 1 by Ichiya Hiragi and Aya Shoto and Haruki Yoshimura, a series about a girl who is chosen from, I think it's multiple houses. Let's see. Okay, they don't actually say in specifics here. Essentially, a lot of young girls are sent off to become the new emperors, basically be chosen as the new emperor's, is he the new emperor or the emperor's son? Yes, okay, yeah, the new emperor who is 5. They're basically sending all their daughters off to see who would be a good consort or a good match for the emperor. She is joining not because she wants to be with the emperor at his young age, but it's kind of an obligation thing. You have to send your child off to it, and we see that she might be developing a sort of somewhat relationship with, I don't remember what his role is, with this man, and also she's able to be chosen as a caretaker for the emperor because, of course, she's much too old to be his concubine or his consort. So it's kind of the role that she's playing with this emperor, is taking care of him and helping him flourish in his role. And I will say the thing that drew me into the series the most was the art is very pretty, very floral. I need to give it more time before it actually develops the full plot. And then we've got Smoking Behind the Supermarket with You, Volume 4 through Square Enix. What happens in this volume is a good question. We've got a few vignettes happening in this volume. We've got a dog that we try and figure out whose dog it is, and we find out more about some of the characters in this series through finding the dog's owner. We have, I don't know if we actually have real development in their relationship. I think it's still just kind of continuing their back and forth as usual of bickering. But I think the dog thing is kind of the big thing that happens in this volume, and it helps develop one of the side characters. Their relationship is maybe slowly developing into a real one, but we will have to see. Then we've got Atom the Beginning, Volume 10, which is my only Titan manga for this month. This volume, we've got seemingly the end of the arc where they're inside this security silo that they're not allowed to be in. When I say they, I mean the main character Atom and the professor, the doctor. And they end up finding somebody there they weren't expecting to find and set out to rescue them. And we get a very long fight between Atom and this character here. It's interesting. I'm enjoying it, and it seems like it's actually tying into the Astro Boy lore here in this volume with kind of explaining the timelines, which is really interesting. Next, we've got 3 Kuma releases, which is a record for how many I get in a month. They're very slow usually. We have Even If There's No Rainbow Tomorrow by Noriko Kihara, and this is a series about a drag queen working at a bar who ends up going on this app where you can kind of vent to other people to talk about your frustrations, and the man ends up finding her at the bar she works at by coincidence, realizing it's her, and then kind of saying some stupid stuff to her. Actually, I say her. He is a gay man who is performing in drag a lot of the time, so the pronouns kind of mixed. When they're in drag, you'd say her. When they're not in drag, you would say him most of the time. Regardless, I'll refer to him as her just to make this explanation a little bit easier. He hurts her feelings, and they basically take a while to kind of patch things up between each other because she's very pissed off about this, because a lot of gay men tend to get very defensive about feeling like they've been attacked by other people because of the way a lot of the world portrays them and views them. So we have some rough spots happening, and we have seemingly a relationship that starts developing between these two. And I don't believe is there any intercourse in this volume? Oh, I said that weird. It's rated mature, but I don't remember if there's... Yes, there is relationships that happen in this volume, and I think it's mostly at the end. But it is a very interesting, very sweet portrayal of a relationship between somebody who didn't know his own sexuality and somebody who has been hurt by straight men before, and is also telling all of her gay friends not to go for straight men, which is ironic. It's a very good series, though. Or a very good one-shot, I mean. Then we've got Guardians of the Far Frontier, which is a series about a man who is exiled from being a royal and essentially having to work as a guardian. People who keeping watch over a large area because he messed up as a royal, seemingly. And then we have a relationship developing between him and I think the captain of the Guardians. Let's see. And then we just kind of have their relationship developing, some backstory on what the actual events were that caused him to be exiled in the first place. Unfortunately, I actually didn't really like this one that much. It just didn't really capture me as much as a lot of these other Kuma works do. There's always some that don't, but that's just kind of my opinion on this one. Then we've got the first volume of a new Kuma series called Yatamomo by Harada. This is a series about a man who sleeps around in order to live with people, to have a house, to have food, and a man who is... Whoa, that was cool. The spine was kind of purple for a second. A man who is basically trying to help take care of him and make him realize his own worth, but there's a lot of toxic and complicated things happening between them, as tends to happen in a lot of Harada works. It's a very interesting read, very, very explicit, as again a lot of Harada works are. It also features a lot of essay, so be on the lookout for that if that's something you don't really like. But I enjoyed this. I've enjoyed all of Harada's work so far. Next, we've got 100 Girlfriends, Volume 13. This volume, we are introducing a social studies teacher who is a heavy alcoholic, and she is kind of the main thing that happens in this volume. The development of her relationship with the main character, and a arc where the characters don't get drunk, but it's really funny. They get very meta about it, explaining how they're not drunk, but everything they're doing is a simulacrum of being drunk. That they explain is in no way related to alcohol by explaining the physiology of how these effects happen to the people. It's very stupid and meta in the best way. I really like this series. It's just dumb fun. Then we've got At 2500 in Akasaka, Volume 3. We've got a kind of pitfall that the main character's falling into his new role that he's trying to act in without being able to work with Hayama Asami, the guy he started dating and kind of saw as a role model. But he's running into issues because the director for this project isn't seeing the same spark he saw in him in the first place. So we kind of have the main character trying to figure out what he's doing wrong and how he can fix himself and how it's affecting his relationship to be this anxious about his own performances. It's good so far. I enjoy it. Then we have a big twist, very stupidly slice of life, silly romance, My Boyfriend's a Dog, Volume 2. Not really a lot happens in this volume. I think we do have a family meetup in this volume with more of the dog family, which is really, really cute. And then some drama that happens with his ex showing up. I very much recommend this series if you're a furry, and even if you're not like weirded out by anthropomorphic characters. It's a very cute BL series. Next, we've got No Longer Allowed in Another World, Volume 8. This volume, we've got a big twist happening at the end, but we also have like a lot of the volumes dedicated to kind of another fallen angel that they're learning about and having to fight, having to figure out a way to get everybody through it. It's the fallen angel of lust this time, I think. Yeah. It's very interesting what happens at the end of this volume. It involves another fallen angel and a big plot twist, and I'm really curious to see how things are going to go from here. Last read of the month was Royal Tailor Clothier to the Crown, Volume 3. So we've got... Yes, we have the dragon. So apparently the king has multiple wives, one of them being this dragon woman, and we're trying to figure out why one of his wives is trying to kill the king. We have a lot of development for the dragon wife and the slime wife, and also very cute dog. I think it's a dog girl. I don't remember the gender, but yeah. I can't flip to the exact page because I am not coordinated with these paws. Anyways, very cute dog girl. Very cute character designs, fun gimmicks with the wives. The main character does play a bit of a kind of more supporting role in this volume to all of the other characters being introduced, but I do really still enjoy this series, and I love the little gay thing they have going on between the two of them, this woman here and this woman here, but I don't know if it's actually going to develop into anything really. But yeah, I think that's going to be everything for this month. Thank you everybody for watching, and I hope to see everyone in the next month. Bye-bye.